Hey, welcome to your personalized deep dive, into the life of Tony Slattery.
Oh, Tony Slattery.
Yeah, we're going beyond just the headlines, about his recent passing, using these articles from The Independent and Sky News.
Okay.
Really trying to capture the essence of this incredibly talented and complex man.
Well, you know what strikes me right away is how his comedic brilliance and personal struggles seem so intertwined.
Yeah.
It's almost as if his humor was a way of navigating those very real challenges,
Absolutely. It's like you can't separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
So let's rewind all the way back to his Cambridge days.
Okay.
Both articles mentioned his time as president of the Footlights.
Right.
Which, for those not in the know, is no ordinary college comedy club.
No, it's practically a comedy institution.
Right.
I mean, the alumni list reads like a who's who of British comedy.
Yeah.
Stephen Fry, John Cleese, Emma Thompson.
Oh, wow.
Slattery being president in 1982 tells you he was already a standout talent even then.
Yeah, and get this, he was surrounded by future stars like Jan Revens, Sandy Toksvig, Richard Vranch.
Wow.
Clearly some serious comedic energy was brewing at Cambridge in those days.
What's fascinating is how Footlights likely shaped his improvisational skills,
Right.
which became his trademark.
Yeah.
The Independent mentions his early TV appearance on Saturday Stay Back, but it was, whose line is it, anyway? In 1988, that really catapulted him to fame.
Ah, yes. Whose line? Now imagine a show where you throw out random scenarios
Right.
and these quick-witted comedians just riff, creating hilarious scenes and songs on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
That was Slattery's playground.
And he wasn't just playing, he was excelling.
Right.
He had this uncanny ability to think on his feet, crafting these wonderfully absurd characters
Yeah.
and moments out of thin air.
Wow.
The articles highlight his sharp wit, his incredible timing, but there was also this playful energy, almost a mischievous glint in his eye that made him so captivating to watch.
You're right, he was a natural. The Independent mentions a bit about how his departure from Whose Line in 1995
Right.
coincided with the beginning of some personal difficulties.
Okay.
Is that when things started to shift for him?
Well, it's certainly a pivotal point in his story.
Yeah.
He had achieved significant success beyond Whose Line, appearing on shows like Just a Minute and Have I Got News for You, even landing roles in films like The Crying Game.
Right.
But behind the scenes, he was grappling with bipolar disorder and substance abuse,
Yeah.
issues that he would later speak about very candidly.
It seems like his participation in Stephen Fry's 2006 documentary, The Secret Life of the Manic Depressive,
Right.
was a significant moment in terms of his own openness about his struggles and raising public awareness around mental health.
Absolutely. The Sky News article recounts how Slattery described experiencing a midlife crisis
Okay.
and becoming reclusive after leaving Whose Line.
Wow.
Imagine during a time when mental health was largely stigmatized. He bravely shared his bipolar diagnosis, offering a glimpse into his internal world.
And he didn't shy away from those conversations later in life either.
No.
Both articles mention his 2020 interview with Radio Times
Right.
and the BBC Two documentary, What's the Matter with Tony Slattery,
Yeah.
where he continued to explore these challenges.
It seems like his honesty deepened over time. In those later interviews, he spoke candidly about his financial struggles.
Wow.
Even revealing his bankruptcy.
Really?
He attributed it to fiscal illiteracy, misplaced trust, and of course the impact of his ongoing health issues.
There's something quite powerful in that admission, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
Not only is he being incredibly vulnerable, but it's also challenging the perception that success equates to having it all figured out.
What strikes me is that he didn't frame himself as a victim.
Yeah.
There's a sense of accountability in his words, a recognition of his own role in the difficulties he faced. And yet, there's also an underlying message of resilience, a determination to keep going despite those setbacks. And that's a powerful message, isn't it? That even amidst those challenges, he never completely disappeared.
Right.
The Sky News article mentions the Whose Line reunion for comic relief in 2011.
Oh, that must have been quite a moment
Yeah.
to see him back on that stage riffing with his old pals.
Yeah.
I imagine that resonated not just with him, but with all those fans who've been following his journey.
It's a testament to the enduring power of Whose Line
Yeah.
and to Slattery's unique comedic contribution.
Right.
His ability to find humor in the unexpected, to spin these absurd and brilliant scenarios.
Right.
It's something that still resonates with comedians today.
You can definitely see his influence.
Yeah.
But what I find fascinating is how that improvisational genius might be connected to his bipolar disorder.
Ah, yes. It's intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some experts believe there's a link between creativity and certain mental health conditions, particularly bipolar disorder.
Right.
Studies have shown that individuals with bipolar often display heightened creativity during manic or hypomanic phases.
So could it be that Slattery's incredible capacity for spontaneous humor, that rapid-fire wit,
Right.
was somehow fueled by his bipolar experiences?
It's certainly a compelling thought.
Yeah.
Of course, we can't definitively say,
Right.
but it does make you wonder if those flights of fancy,
Yeah.
those unexpected twists and turns in his comedic thinking
Right.
were somehow connected to his brain chemistry.
Wow.
The Independent article actually touches on this, mentioning how some of his closest friends observed
Okay.
that his most manic periods often coincided with his most creative outbursts.
Wow, that's insightful.
Yeah,
It makes you think about the complex relationship between mental health and creative expression.
precisely, and it challenges us to reconsider how we view mental health conditions.
Right.
While they undoubtedly present challenges, they can also be a source of extraordinary gifts. In Slattery's case, perhaps his bipolar disorder, while undoubtedly a source of personal struggle, also contributed to his unique comedic brilliance.
It's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
So how do we reconcile those two sides when considering his legacy?
Right.
He's obviously a comedic giant,
Yeah,
but his personal struggles are such a significant part of his story as well.
that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think his legacy is multifaceted.
Okay.
On the one hand, he's a pioneer of improv comedy in the UK,
Right.
an inspiration to countless comedians who followed in his footsteps.
Yeah?
His work on Whose Line and other shows helped shape the landscape of British comedy.
But he's also a symbol of something larger, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
His openness about his bipolar disorder and substance abuse helped destigmatize mental health conversations.
Absolutely. He challenged societal perceptions of mental illness by talking openly about his experiences, his ups and downs, his moments of vulnerability.
Yeah.
He showed us that it's okay to not be okay. That seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
And that resonates with people.
Yeah.
Especially in a world where we're finally starting to have more open and honest conversations about mental health.
It's true. His vulnerability, his willingness to share his struggles,
Right.
makes him relatable on a human level.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he was saying, look, I'm going through this and it's tough, but you're not alone.
Right.
And in a way, he gave a voice to those who often feel voiceless.
It's a reminder that behind the laughter, behind the public persona,
Yeah.
there's a real person grappling with real challenges. And sometimes the greatest strength lies in acknowledging those challenges and seeking support.
And in Slattery's case, he turned those challenges into a platform for raising awareness, for encouraging dialogue.
Yeah.
He used his humor to connect with people, to make them laugh, but he also used his voice to shed light on the complexities of mental health.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
What can we learn from his journey? What questions does his story leave us pondering?
Well, for one, it encourages us to think about the relationship between creativity and mental health.
Yeah.
How do those two things intersect?
Right.
How can we support individuals who are struggling while also celebrating their unique gifts?
And on a personal level, it makes you consider the power of vulnerability.
Yeah,
How can we be more open and accepting of ourselves and others?
right.
How can we create a culture where it's okay to ask for help when we need it? It's interesting how those questions tie back into his comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, his work on Whose Line was all about embracing the unexpected, navigating those unpredictable moments
Right.
with humor and grace.
It's almost like his comedic style mirrored his approach to life, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
That ability to roll with the punches, to find the funny side of even the most challenging situations.
Right.
It's a quality that many admired in him.
And there's something to be said for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Finding the strength to laugh even when things are tough.
Absolutely.
I remember reading in The Independent that even during his darkest periods, Slattery never lost his sense of humor.
It seems humor was his coping mechanism.
Yeah.
His way of processing the complexities of life.
Uh-huh.
And he used it to connect with others.
Right.
To create a sense of shared humanity. It's as if he was saying, we're all in this together, so let's find a way to laugh about it.
And isn't that the essence of good comedy?
Absolutely.
To find the humor in the human experience and all its messiness and contradictions?
And Slattery did that brilliantly.
Yeah.
He made us laugh, he made us think, and he made us feel a little less alone in our own struggles.
I think that's a beautiful way to sum up his legacy.
Yeah.
He was a comedic genius, a mental health advocate, and ultimately a reminder that even in the face of adversity, The human spirit can find a way to shine through.
Well said.
Yeah.
His story leaves us with much to ponder.
Yeah.
And hopefully inspires us to be a little kinder, a little more understanding,
Yeah.
and a little more willing to embrace the unexpected, both in comedy and in life.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the life and legacy of Tony Slattery.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a journey filled with laughter, reflection, and a deep appreciation for the complexities of the human experience.
And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to explore Slattery's work further.
Yeah.
Watch some classic Whose Line episodes, seek out his later interviews, and let his humor and honesty continue to inspire you.
It's a reminder that behind every headline, every public persona,
Right.
there's a story waiting to be discovered. A life filled with its own unique blend of triumphs and tribulations. And perhaps by delving into those stories, we can learn a little something about ourselves along the way,